Welcome to April and Debbie Dish the Truth on Weight Loss, where we share the raw, real, and sometimes messy truth about our weight loss journeys.
I am Debbie, a weight loss coach who has lost 100 pounds and have been living in maintenance for 4 years.
And I'm April, a weight loss coach, currently down 75 pounds and continuing my journey to lose more.
Together, we'll explore the ups, downs, and everything in between, showing you that lasting weight loss is possible no matter where you are on your path.
Yes. So we're going to start with a couple of shout outs. We've had some comments on the podcast, and we've also received a couple emails which really get us very excited, and so we wanted to share that. So Renee is definitely somebody who really leaves a lot of comments, and we love that, and so we're always reading hers. And Ashley sent in an email to us directly because I talked about traveling to Norway and gave a lot of good tips, and so I want to thank her. um, that was really cool to see.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
definitely going to check out the airline that she talked about and stuff. And Sonia is a listener and also someone who I know personally. So she sent in an email. So I'm going to read the email, and forgive me, sometimes I stutter when I read. But so she says, "Good morning, ladies. First of all, I have to say that I absolutely love your podcast. I have been planning every day for a few weeks. I have actually given myself choices throughout my day. I don't always eat everything I plan, and that's okay. I don't always eat everything at breakfast in one sitting because I've had enough. And then I find myself eating the rest of it a couple hours later. So, should I not do that? And should I just wait until lunch? I feel a bit empty, but not starving, and I don't want to wait until I feel that way. I stopped eating chips every night while watching TV, and I've noticed that I don't wake up swollen and I don't feel heavy. I do plan chips 1 or 2 days out of the weekend. I have been on point with my water intake, and I feel great about that. Thanks." So, we're going to talk about Sonia's email, and then we'll get into the official topic that we have for the podcast. But um, this is a lot of great information, and I know Sonia has been working on her water, so kudos for that. And so the question essentially is within the email that she will eat breakfast until enough, and then a couple hours later she'll feel hungry, and she's wondering if it's best to eat the rest of the breakfast or wait until her lunchtime. So I'm going to give it over to Debbie first to hear her thoughts, and then I'll chime in.
Oh, all right. I'm up first. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we took the time to acknowledge Renee and Sonia and Ashley for sending in because it means so much to us. Like April and I love talking together and we could talk about our journeys and figuring stuff out. But it just is so fun that you all are listening and we're making a difference and you're helping things easier for us too, like traveling. So um I wanted my first answer is do what feels good for you. Like, but then I think, well, do what feels good for you. But then I want you to ask yourself a question, I guess. When you eat and you are satisfied and you get a little hungry a couple hours later, have you been thinking about that food from when you ate it to when you want to eat it again? And because I know for me, if I eat something and I'm satisfied and I feel good and I don't want to eat the rest, my brain starts playing with me later on after it's in the fridge, like, oh, it's still in there. You could go and eat it. So I know for me, sometimes if I go back and eat something, it's only because my brain is telling me it's there. And I really am not truly hungry, but my brain is talking to me so much that I convince myself that I'm hungry. So look at that and ask yourself if that might be. But if you are truly hungry and it saves you from being hangry and overeating at lunchtime or dinner time, then eat it. And and I guess kind of experiment. What would happen if you didn't eat it? Like if you waited until lunchtime to eat the rest, would the hunger be so dire that you would overeat? Or is it just kind of a little nudgy feeling reminding? So I think continuing with April and I's message about doing it our way as she was reading the question, all I could think is do what feels good for you. It like what you say all the time. And I think really at the end of the day, that's my answer. And it may seem like a like a non-answer, but it is an answer. Like what feels good for you and why are you choosing to eat? Is it hunger or is it your brain making you feel hungry? If that makes sense.
It does make sense, and I agree with all of it, and I think it's so funny when you said it doesn't sound like you're giving an answer because I feel like that too when people reach out to me, because I always lead them back to what are you feeling? How are you feeling? Are you distracted? And that so I have connection with her where I could text her, and I had so many questions for her. So I was like, how do you feel? Are you feeling distracted? Are you feeling, there's so many things to pay attention to. And for me, I can offer that I have a baseline of for meals. I look for my meals to last me a good solid 3 to 4 hours. So if I'm hungry a couple hours after I've eaten a meal, I am looking at what I ate and was it substantial enough? Was there enough protein, carb, fat balance? Because I am focusing more on nutrition with how I'm balancing my meals as best as I can. So if I eat breakfast, let's say at like 8 o'clock, and at 10, I'm feeling hungry. And I think Debbie's point to question if it's real hunger or the desire to just want to eat, or is it boredom at work, or not boredom, because we all have things to do, but like procrastinating, like not maybe wanting to do a task or trying to find a little glimmer of fun in the day or or something else that could be leading to wanting to eat. But I do often try to, if that happens, I will have some water. And if I'm still feeling hungry in a few minutes after that, I usually will eat a snack. I don't try to overthink it too much because that will stress me out personally. But I think a couple hours after, I would definitely look at what you're having and how much you're eating of that. So when I have a good solid breakfast, and this goes to I notice my difference from my weekdays to my weekends because on my weekends, I have a very substantial breakfast. So yesterday's a prime example of this, right? So I had a very substantial breakfast. It was very protein heavy, and there were some carbs and fat and everything. And it was hours, I think 5 hours later. And then I was like, oh, I'm getting hungry. So we went out and had lunch, and it was about 2, 3 o'clock. And the lunch was so substantial that I never got hungry for dinner. So that's a very rare thing, but at the same time, it's me, when we talk about enough, this is what it leads me to too is enough and what enough means, because we can take enough into a very wrong area. So when we're saying enough, or when I think when anybody is suggesting to try to intuitively eat to enough does not mean eating the bare minimum to get through your day. Enough is about giving your body enough nutrition and feeling satisfied that it can power you for 3 to 4 hours to get to the next meal and have enough alertness, focus, not feeling distracted or disoriented, not getting headaches. Um, not trying to fight off the hunger, those type of things. I think so much everybody's always of the mindset of I have to enough is like the least amount of possible food that I can get through. And that's not the goal. The goal is to give your body enough to feel nourished and fueled for a good chunk of time. And like I said, my average, I look for 3 to 4 hours. So like when I have breakfast, we'll say around 8 o'clock. I'm looking like that should take me to at least 12, 1 o'clock. That's how I'm feeling. If a snack is needed, I do focus on protein and I'll choose like a beef stick or pumpkin seed, like something that I enjoy eating that I know has some fat in it and protein.
Yeah, and I love that it again goes back to being the scientist and Corinne Crabtree, where the life coach that we both met through, talks a lot about being the scientist of our own bodies. And
Mhm.
I think the fact that you mentioned, go back and look at what you're eating and see what is like what might be missing there. And I think that for me, if I have cereal and blueberries in the morning for breakfast, I enjoy it. I have what fit not fills me, but satisfies me in the moment. But I also know that cereal and blueberries is not going to sustain me hunger wise if I were to have eggs and bacon or sausage or yogurt and granola. And I think that that is so important to look at too. And the fact that you said about enough and that you mentioned that, because ladies and gentlemen and people who are listening to this podcast, we have been taught that to lose weight, you must starve, you must restrict, you
Mhm.
must stop eating all the things that you love, and you must suffer. If you want to lose weight, it's all about the suffering. And it's not. I mean, if I could share with you, and I could share with you my plans that I had made for years and years and years, and none of it was about starving myself. It was still about eating all of the things, but listening to enough. And like April says, enough is not just so I have enough that I'm not feeling like I'm starving and I'll make it to my next meal holding on by my knuckles. And no, enough is my body feels good. I had enough food. I can feel my energy building up, but it doesn't mean I've had so much that I'm so full I got to take a nap, right? And it's finding that balance. And if there's anything that anybody takes away from this, all of our enoughs are different, and our enough is not about, it's not about restriction, it's about empowering and fueling and keeping us going, because we are enough in our own selves. We need enough in our bodies to continue that.
Yeah, I love that. And everyone is different. And along with that, while you were talking, I was writing down too that every day is different. So
Mhm.
if you feel like you ate, Sonia, especially because you wrote in about this. So if you had breakfast and you feel like you hit enough, and then a couple hours later you felt hungry, and you feel like eating is the best choice for you in that moment, then do that until enough again. And then maybe your lunch is pushed later, or maybe it comes at the same time. But that doesn't mean on Tuesday that that same thing is going to happen. Our hunger levels fluctuate day to day, it's different. And so I think this happens. This is a topic we've talked about that we might do in another podcast about being flexible in our ideas of what we need to do every day. Every day is not going to be identical. You're going to feel hungrier some days, you're going to feel less hungry other days. You're going to need more fuel some days because you're doing more, and you might need less fuel some days because you're just hanging out and you're not doing much. So it's not a hard and fast rule. So we're like Debbie said, I know it sounds like we're not giving a direct answer, and we're really not, because it's ultimately you taking time to assess how you are feeling and tune into that. I can tell you what I do, and Debbie can tell you what she does, and anybody else that you might listen to. But at the end of the day, it's how you're feeling and what's carrying you through. Somebody's going to look at what I do and be like, that would not work for me, and vice versa. So, getting other people's ideas and hopefully what we have talked about might tune you into what to look at for yourself. Um, I did for a while track, and I think Sonia's doing this in the journal that she uses, because I actually bought the journal that she showed me she uses. And it has where you're writing down your breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and then it has a place where you put the time that you ate. And I used to do that on my phone when I was getting coached for a little bit. I would write down when I ate in my app, like my notes app. I would write down what I ate and what time I ate it. And it really tuned me into, and that's really when I started to pay attention to, okay, this did not last me as long as the other meal lasted me. Why? What was the difference? And that really helped me realize what works better in my body for longevity. Right. So that's kind of like, I think, where we're going to leave it. And if Sonia has any other questions in terms of that, absolutely write in, follow up, tell us. We'd love to hear too, like what you paid attention to and what you thought could change and how it worked for you, or if you came up with another question from what we said. Um, but this also was gonna move into our podcast topic, which is what we always hear out there. And Debbie had a personal moment with it this week of choosing your hard and what that means for you.
Yes, and it was so great when, because we talked during the week, the messaging, and I will be honest, April has all the amazing ideas. I come to the thing, and she's like, "What'd you think of this week?" I'm like, "Nothing, because I'm waiting on you." But that's not true. We both do it. But this week
Yes.
I had things that I'm like, "Wait, April, I got some ideas," and it was funny because what I had suggested that we talk about was choose your hard. And April, your immediate response when you read that or heard it was,
So I and this goes to, again, everybody is so different. And I talked about this in a previous podcast. Like, I think it was about the fasting. It was about the fasting. And I said, do you lean into that when you hear that and you want to know more, or does it make you recoil? And I have always been that person when I have heard choose your heart, because I know it was like a slogan for some company at some point. It's very impactful to people and it drives people. It really gets them to focus. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying for me, it does not resonate with me. It immediately, when I heard her talking about it in the voicemail, I was like, ooh, I just kind of backed up a little. But it excited you and it got you going. And I do have a version of that. It's just a different perspective. So like for me, I don't say choose your heart just because my brain and my thoughts don't kind of go there like that. But I do think like it is about choices, and that's always what I talk about, right? And I, throughout my day, will ask myself, what choice am I going to feel good about later? That's something I ask myself often. And so it's the same thing, it's just phrased a little differently. That's all.
and you know what I think is so amazing about that is that we learn what feels like we all go into this, weight loss is hard, right? And our podcast has been talking about doing what's right for you, make it easier for you. So I can see how me saying choose your hard, and that goes against everything that we're talking about. And so that's what is so beautiful about having friends who can help see things that, oh, well, this doesn't feel good to me. Does it really feel good to you to say it? Like we get to examine by looking at our friends, listening to our friends, other coaches, just who point out what we're hearing. So when you mentioned that, April, I was like, that makes total sense. So what choice, choose your choice. I don't know, is that make your choice, I guess. And it's really so true. But what brought me to wanting to talk about that is I when I started my weight loss journey, sometimes she's right in front of me, that girl in the blue dress with the cane and the me from 6 years ago. And I know starting my journey to weight loss terrified me, just like tomorrow I start my first day on the teller line and I'm terrified because it's new, right? And so when I wrote ages ago about choosing your hard and listening to April making different choices or what is your choice today? I would look at, my kids wanted me to go on a excursion on a cruise we were going on. And Brittany called me and she says, Mom, are you the, do you meet the weight requirement? Do you exceed the weight limit? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. And then I Googled it and I wasn't fine. And that was one of the first realizations that, oh, I think I'm overweight. And for people who have seen me at my heaviest, you may be like, well, how'd you not know? But
Mm,
you see what you want to see. And
yeah.
I was still me and I'm
Mhm.
still me, right? So like I saw what was in me, not what was outside of me. So it started asking myself, do I want to miss out on those excursions or do I want to make different choices? And just talking about it with you, like I didn't say, do I want to do the hard, right? It's like it all comes back to choices. do I want to have this ice cream sundae that looks amazing and will taste amazing and may make me wait to my goal a little bit? Well, yeah, and I think that's what I was saying, choose your heart. Your heart is giving up the, you either give up the ice cream or you don't experience weight loss. Well, you do. You can have that ice cream now. It just might make you wait a little bit longer. So you need to decide what moves you forward, what has you waiting a little bit, and what might make you take a step back. But they're all choices, and you're not choosing a hard, really. You're choosing what moves you, what is where you want to be today. Really, I'm trying to find the best way to say it because it's really, where do you want to be today?
Yeah. Yeah. I think and again, it resonates. There's so many different people out there and everybody's going to resonate with something different. And there's nothing wrong with connecting with choose your heart or when people say life is hard. Like I don't say that. That's a belief that somebody can have and life can be challenging, it can be sad, it can be happy, it can be so many things, but to me, even on my toughest day or my most emotional day over not having my mom, I don't it's just not a thought that, automatically comes into my brain. Like, my brain is just, "I'm alive," right? And that's, wonderful. And overall, my life is great. Like, I don't have a whole lot to complain about if I'm honest about it, and that's what I remind myself of. Like, are there things I would be make different? Not too many. My main focus is health and trying to work on that because I know that will make me have a longer life and a life of doing more things. But I think my biggest thing when I talk to people is always finding what gets you moving. And if telling yourself choose your heart throughout the day means something to you and you connect to it, then use it. Like there's nothing wrong with that. I am just like, so that was Debbie's perspective. And I just am bringing my perspective of I don't resonate with that. That does not, sorry, there's a little gnat in my office. um, I don't, that doesn't encourage me. Like that does not get me moving. It just doesn't. But like I've talked about before, I struggle with going to bed on time and which means I would struggle getting up on time to do my morning walk. And Debbie and I talked about this before the podcast. I spoke with Kevin. We've come up with a different plan for nighttime to hopefully achieve getting to bed on time. But never did I think in my head, I'm choosing my hard. Is it hard to go to bed on time and get up early? It's just not the way my brain thinks about it. I just think like, what do I want more? Like I want time with my husband before going to bed. I also want to get up in the morning to do my walk because I feel good doing both. And how can I achieve both? That's just kind of how my thought process gets me there. But whatever works for anybody, I encourage them to do it. But also to keep in mind about asking what is the what is sparking you with the encouragement? Like when you hear something, is it excitement? Like, does it make you want to do something? Does it make you feel good? Or is it just like, are you beating yourself into submission? Right. And again, sometimes that works for people. It's just, I do tend to gravitate more towards a positive way of encouraging myself. I don't thrive in an environment of, uh, it's kind of like when you have two different
Like,
personal trainers. Like if anybody watched TV shows way back when there was I think it was The Biggest Loser, and there was one coach, the female trainer, and there was the male trainer. And the female trainer was much more like in your face, like get up, do it, like in your face, right? And the other one was a little bit like, you can do this. And I'm definitely more of a you can do this personal coach that I would need. Getting in my face and be like, get up off the floor. Like I just would not, I would probably
it does
cuss.
not resonate with
Like
you.
no,
Mm.
it would not encourage me. But you know, you always have to find what you connect with. But yeah, that's what works best for me.
And I think that you acknowledging that, and then I think for me to come back to like, and also make sure that it really works for you, because as
Mhm.
soon as April gave me her wording, I was like, oh, that really feels good. Like that makes sense to me. That feels better than choose your hard. And I know like choose your hard, and I know you mentioned it was a tagline somewhere, and I don't know where it is either. So I think I
Yeah.
just use that because that's what everybody always says. But you, for me, this morning was a reminder that just because everybody has always said it, it doesn't have to be what motivates me. It doesn't need to be what moves me. Like I can keep thinking choose your hard works for me, but I can also this week I've done the same thing. I have a water bottle that is 52 ounces, and that water bottle discourages me like no other. Like in it feels, and it's a feeling and it's a thought that brings me there, but it just feels like I cannot drink this entire thing.
Okay.
So I will get maybe one in a day. I'll fill it up. I switched to a 40-ounce water bottle for no other reason than it was easy and it was clean and I could grab it. It was convenience,
Mhm.
but I can whip through a 40-ounce. I can do 3 in a day without even a thought. Now,
Mhm.
it may seem like, well, how can that be? It works for my brain. I trust myself that I can finish that and I get it done. Nobody else has to understand why it makes sense for me,
Right.
but it does to me. Like what I do, and another, I wrote this down, eh, being enough. I lost what I was going to say, so it doesn't even matter. But it's just changing the things. I was in training this week and I kept saying, I'm like, oh, Ricky, I'm wrong again. And he's like, you're not wrong. You're incorrect and you're learning. Wrong implies something so much different than incorrect. And, we need to learn to trust ourselves. And we all have different levels of trust. So instead of choosing our hard, choose embracing more trust in ourselves to make the choices, like April says, that bring about the changes that we want to see. And, when we talk to you all and we're talking about food and we're talking about changing our thoughts, it's not just about weight loss goals. This is everything that we talk about has like could help us in every different aspect of our journey, weight loss, or, you know, my goal to ride my bike 3 times. You know what I mean? Like, find what works for you, trust yourself, know that everybody's enough is going to be different. And if choose your hard works, if choose what motivates you to the next day, whatever works for you and is healthy and makes you happy, that is what you should do.
I agree. It's really tuning in to what keeps you going and what gets you excited and what just feels good. And I think that we tend to get so tripped up into everybody else. And we've talked about this before too. Social media, like, man, it's all out there. And everybody has their opinion about what is
Yeah.
right and what you should be doing and what their answer is. Their answer is the right answer. And it's easy to get sucked into it. And that's really, and I encourage people to try different things for sure. Just keep in mind when you're trying somebody's suggestion, it is not the be all end all answer. You are, like Debbie said, you are investigating to see if that resonates and feels good to you. Um, People who fast or people intermittent fast or people who do, one meal a day, or there's so many only eat meat, what is the carnivore? There's so many different things out there. I couldn't think of them all, but none of them, like I said, are wrong. If you want to try them and you are paying attention to how you feel, then that's great. If you're doing it because somebody else is doing it and you're going to push through no matter how you feel, then that's where I would just say question your intention for yourself and what are you really trying to achieve. And if you're trying to achieve just weight loss and not worrying about how you feel about yourself at the end of the day, then okay. But I think most of us, especially the people who are listening to us, you want to feel good in your body. You want to feel good about the choices you're making. And that means paying attention to your thoughts and your body and how you feel.
Yeah. And it's so true. And when you mentioned how it didn't feel, I was ready to jump right on whatever you said. And April's right. I know what she's going to say is right. And that's how I should reframe it. If it felt yucky to her, it's going to feel yucky to me.
Mhm,
Not necessarily. And find something that sparks you too. Like
mhm.
journaling. I love to write. I love to write. I will tell you I don't like to journal. Now, I don't think it's true because it, I like to write and I like to get things out. And I had taken a very long break from journaling, but I picked up Kristen Butler's happiness journal this week. And I didn't even realize when I picked it up that it was August 1st. So it could seem like, oh, I decided to start doing, but I'm like, oh, it's August 1st. And it's a morning journal prompt and an evening journal prompt. And when I read the evening journal prompt, it just touched me in such a way. And then I wrote under it with a green pen because I was using a different pen and it didn't bring me joy, but this green one did. And when I wrote the first line in this journal, I could feel something in my body, like kind of this buzzing, like, oh, this is fun, this is good. And I thought to myself, I missed this. Like it was just a simple thing. Like, but sometimes we think we don't like to do it, and it's not that we don't like to do it. We forget the joy that it brings to us. We forget the reason that we're doing it, what it does for us. So it's always good to
Bailey's walking by to say hi.
say hello. It's my turn to be on camera. Um, such a sweetie. But I think that's it. And like find the things that spark your joy because there is joy. There's so much room for joy and gratitude in our journeys through life, no matter and there is stuff too. I mean, we know Facebook, we were talking about social media, shows all the good and the happy. And like people have asked me, are you really as happy as it appears out in heaven? We truly are. But I also know that like Facebook has the best of everybody's life. And so
Mhm.
rarely do we share what we're living through. And we need to make room for both in our lives. We can't be all happy, gratitude, perfect every day because in these sad times, the hard times, but in those learning moments, that's what connects it all together. So just remember it, not every day is going to be simple, not every day is going to be a challenge, but we embrace all of it to get where we are.
Yes. Again, I agree with everything you say. And I love when you talked about sparking your joy because we do, of course, this is a weight loss based podcast, so we're always going to talk about that. But it goes into if you find things that you find joyful and bring you happiness or moments, whether like I'm working on finding more time to do art, and that's something that I love. When you become more fulfilled in general in your life, hobbies or music or writing, reading, whatever it is, the more you get in tune with who you are and what does make you happy and feel good and pay attention to learning yourself, like that is going to help in weight loss as well. And this is a great time to think about that. Debbie mentioned that it's August 1st, right? It's the beginning of August, which I still can't wrap my mind around.
These
But
days.
it's a great opportunity when the month starts to look back at the previous month and view it as a whole and see like what felt great. What did you do that you enjoyed to do and what that you would like to do more? And then if there were things in terms of anything in your life, but if it's weight loss specific, I had a goal like for me, I'll talk about myself. In July, I had a goal. Of course, I talked about wanting to lose weight, getting back into weight loss mode, and I stayed the same. I could choose to be frustrated and disappointed about that. And of course, there was a moment of was like, okay, that's not what I was hoping. But what did I learn? I learned that what I was intaking for my calories and the movement level that I was doing, which was not much, led me to maintain for the month. And that's reasonable. That's okay. So, what will I do for August if I choose to want to lose weight for this month, which I do have that goal? So, what small changes can I make to get the scale moving down? So it's a great time to just look and reflect. But when we look at the previous month, I really want to encourage people to work on not beating yourself up over what did not happen and really look at what you did do and what can you learn from what happened, right? It's not negative that I didn't lose weight. Some people might feel that way, and I understand that. That's normal. And I have worked a lot on thought work to not necessarily spend a lot of time there. But I just like Debbie and I've talked about in many podcasts, like you are so much more in life than your weight loss or your weight that you are now or whatever it is in terms of your body. Like we say it all the time, you're somebody's friend, wife, spouse, partner, daughter, whatever it is. There's so much more to your life than the weight on your body. But if you're here and listening, most likely you do want to lose weight. So that's a great goal to have, but just to keep perspective. So when I looked at July, I just looked at what I did, what the result was, what was the data of the scale, and what was I willing to do for August. So I have new goals for August and ways that I'm going to work on achieving them. And then when August is done, I'll see where I'm at and then I'll reassess then. But I'm looking at it like kind of removing emotion from it and just looking at what can I do now, what happened, and what can I do now.
Yeah, I love that. And you again, you said willingness and choices and the softer words and the more encouraging words. They do so much more for our brains than, even just choose your heart, right? Like that sounds like a motivating thing, but we see in real time how it doesn't. And now how I can reflect on that too and how it impacts me. I got up in the middle and went to my bookcase because I just wanted to share this because this is where I find myself right now. And I hope this resonates. This is what sparked me the other day when I was doing the journal is when you find joy in the ordinary, you are gifted more of the extraordinary. And
Mhm.
I just think that that is such a powerful thing because I think we all are looking for that magic thing that is going to save us, take all the weight away, make our lives happier than they are. But sometimes it's just embracing the ordinary that helps us realize how extraordinary our lives really are right now in this moment. And don't miss out on it because we're beating ourselves up because we didn't do our weight loss goal. Yesterday, I hit the lowest weight on the scale that I've been in probably 3 months. I celebrated with 3 candy bars, a half a cheese pizza, and a pint of ice cream. And that's not really why I ate it, but it's the choices I made yesterday. And just know today, like I'm not getting up beating myself up. That was yesterday. Today, I want to show up differently for myself. Not better, not worse. I want to show up differently and make better choices.
Yeah, and I love the message of finding. I I'm not going to remember how you said it, but whatever you just said was great. And it made me think of my day yesterday with Kevin because it was a beautiful day. We live in Connecticut and it was 80 and sunny but breezy and it was just beautiful. And we just spent the day going about towns and walking and shopping and whatever. And it was a great day. I was very happy and it was a great Saturday. And when we were walking down the street, the shops always have windows and I had looked over and I saw my reflection. Now, was my reflection exactly what I would like to see my body look like? Nope. Did I have a moment of I was like, okay, not great. Yes, I did. I had a moment of a thought, And then I immediately chose not to stay there because I
Mm.
was having an amazing day and my husband loves me and I love me regardless. I know I'm working on it and I will get there. And, but some people, and myself included in the past, would have let that moment of seeing a, a visual that I wasn't necessarily content with kind of ruin a day. I would have gotten emotional. I would have gotten this. I'm not good enough. I'm not trying hard enough. I'm not this. And let's just say even that stuff might be true. What's the benefit of staying there in that moment? I would have taken away that whole day of enjoyment and sun and holding hands and spending the day just talking with him and shopping because of a visual, right? So I just love that. Really focus on the good because there's always good. Even on the rainy days, the flowers are still there or something is still there to think about that I look out into my garden and that brings me joy. Like, look at your surroundings, look at your home, look at your friends, whatever, your pets. If you have pets, there's just always something to ground yourself to remember that life is bigger than a number.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So good. Well, this one I actually was a little teary-eyed because it's just so true. Embrace the ordinary. And you know what? You could have had your whole day become so much different from one little glimpse in a thing, and it would have taken away the joy of being with Kevin and all the things. And like there's just always something. So um anyway, that this was so good to spend the morning with all of you on this podcast, and April with you always. So good. And if you found something that motivated you or felt good to you in this podcast, we'd love to hear from you. We appreciate you listening and sharing with friends and family, anybody who you may know who just needs a little dose of April and Debbie. Dish the truth on weight loss.
Yeah, thanks for being here again. Yeah, I always look forward to the podcast and hearing back from people and everybody who comments. It always means so much. I wish I could shout out everybody, but my brain is not there to remember everybody who has sent in comments. Um, but yeah, we would always appreciate a share or an email or a like on the Facebook page. And our email is April and Debbie dish the truth at gmail.com. And the Facebook is the same.
Yeah, so look forward to being with you next week. And from my heart to your journey, keep blooming.
Yes. And as always, remember to wake up willing to do something that feels good to you.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.